of our latest episode that's out right now with Dan, the CarBomb Carcillo, where we talked about the power of psilocybin and magic mushrooms and how it's literally transformed his life. And in that transformational process, and even doing the experience itself, which is pretty wild to hear him talk about how he communicated with the plant, or the plant, or not, it's not even a plant, the mushroom, the medicine communicated with him and helping him to realize his purpose and his mission is to bring more of these psilocybin and magic mushrooms experiences to more people for more healing. So, John, good to be back. We're not going to stay very long. We just
Nope,
want to
just short and sweet.
drop in, do this live, and it was a great episode of Dan.
Oh, it was. Dan's such a great guy, man. He's doing such good
Fucking
work.
yeah, totally.
And hopefully we can link up with him at some point in the
Yeah,
near future to get a Men Talking Mindfulness retreat going in or around Denver. He mentioned potentially putting together a therapy center in Denver. And
yeah,
I had to laugh, man. So we released this episode on Valor Media. We released it in video on Valor Media.
yeah.
And I went in there to check it just to see how it's doing. And somebody commented, they're like, "Oh my gosh, an Irish car bomb has nothing to do with Jaeger." And I was like, "What in the
It's true.
world?"
Yeah, I was going to say
I went back.
that.
I went back. I was like, "Why did I say Jägermeister?" And
Yeah, you
I
did.
forgot. I did Jaeger bombs, not Irish
Oh,
car bombs. So the Jaeger bomb is the thing that you drop a shot of Jägermeister down into uh, Guinness.
the Guinness,
Yeah,
or no,
Guinness.
or is that Jaegerbomb? Is that with fuck? What's Red Bull? No,
Oh, maybe I don't.
I
Whatever. It
think
doesn't
that's it.
matter.
Anyway, okay, yeah.
Bottom line is, I clearly don't remember my drinks very well. I probably don't remember
So,
them because they removed part of my memory. But anyhow, I thought it was funny that was the one thing somebody got from the show is
yeah,
that they're like,
yeah,
"Oh my gosh, Irish car bombs don't have anything to do with Jaeger." So I
yeah,
admit I don't remember my drinks.
yeah, yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
that's a good thing.
That's
But
probably
anyhow,
sounds like a good thing.
yeah, great episode. And Dan's doing a great job sharing it. Very much appreciate that. But I loved everything he had to say about the spirituality side
Yes,
of
yes,
the psilocybin, and I don't necessarily mean that that's God in the Christian sense, but it is a spiritual experience, whatever that might look like for you. And I definitely have felt that in the journeys that we did down in
yeah.
Costa Rica together.
Hmm.
For those of you who don't know, who haven't tuned into the show before, Will and we did the show for like 2.5 years, maybe even longer, before we ever met in person. And we met in person in Costa Rica specifically to do this psilocybin retreat, and it was incredible. The insights that we gained from that. So anyhow, Dan's doing great work. Fantastic episode. Really enjoyed just how open and vulnerable he was. And if you guys don't know Dan, like Will mentioned, he's a NHL player, two-time Stanley Cup winner, multiple concussions.
Seven or something like that.
Ended
Yeah,
up getting retired from the NHL because of the number of concussions he had,
yeah, yeah.
and then now he's doing incredible work with plant medicine, but with concussion recovery, concussion healing, these types of things. So, yeah,
No, right, and that's like one thing that really brought him into this work. It's like well, I thought fascinating with his story, and I didn't realize this is even possible with so many concussive injuries. I mean, even at such a young age, he was beginning to experience on early onset dementia,
dementia.
which was like, wow. I mean, that's like, geez, yeah. I mean, you think that's like when you're in your 80s, 90s, 70s, late 70s, or something like that. He's experienced in his 30s, and when he got out of the NHL and trying to heal from all his concussive injuries, um, he went to different, all sorts of typical Western ways of healing, or their attempt to heal concussive injuries and head trauma and TBIs and all CTIs. Like I forget, I don't know exactly all the difference in all of them, but it's all about brain injury. And he would feel good like for like a couple days or maybe a week, and then he'd go right back into all the symptoms he was experiencing. And he was slugging it out for like 3 years,
Right.
until he took his first time taking a very high dose of magic mushrooms, and the active ingredient in magic mushrooms is psilocybin. I think it was over like 5 grams or something like that. had this massive mind-blowing experience, and after that one time, I think a vast majority, like 80 or 90% of all of his problems were gone in his head. Like they were
Yeah.
just his all
I
his
mean, how do
trauma
you
was
put a
gone.
percentage on that, right? But
Yeah.
yes,
Well, that's I
I
think he alluded to that in the episode, like what it was, but he was just like
yeah.
there wasn't a problem anymore. So that I just really that's awesome. I mean, and I really appreciated hearing that. And I know they're starting to fight on Capitol Hill about bringing, these plant medicines to more of the mainstream to deal with stuff like this, because here's a guy who has the money, has the opportunities, has even a platform that can really take on and try some sort of healing modality for head trauma, and they didn't work. They're still not working. He tried everything.
Right.
That's how bad off he was. And then what did it was something that comes out of the ground, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Um, we also tapped into getting into the ceremony and getting going deeper into the ceremony. When I say ceremony, I mean really taking a heavy dose of mushrooms, of the psilocybin. Full spectrum is what he recommends, not the synthetic. And uh, and how that and joining that with mindfulness and not resisting and breathing and being calm, like, really helps you to have an incredible experience. He does go, and it's funny, in the beginning he's like, I normally don't talk about the this inner wisdom that comes from the plant or communing or with the mushroom. um, but he also brought that up too, which I thought was pretty fascinating to hear him talk about that. And I can see
Oh, for
why he
sure.
doesn't want to talk about it a little bit, because it is like a little bit like, what, like this mushrooms, this entity is just an entity talking to you. But like, I've definitely experienced that, whether it's with psilocybin, which I've done in ceremony several times. I've done ayahuasca, which is a different, that's a plant medicine. um, Whereas like the fungus is fungus, it's not the same thing as a plant. But both of them have this sort of seemingly knowing, like, entity, omnipotent, or
Hmm.
omniscient, I guess you could say, kind of universal intelligence that's within it, that helps to guide you through the ceremony, but also can help you to see maybe what the next step on your path is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's
You
do it.
remember Ben Utek? Utek.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So Super Bowl champ, also multiple concussions. We should probably connect the two of them
yeah.
because I know he's got some challenges and he's written about it. He's very open about it. He
Oh,
sings
that's a good
songs about
point.
it.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy. Probably connect the two of them. Sorry, I know I'm
No,
brainstorming
off
and
the
doing my
top,
entrepreneurial thing kind of off the.
off the dome, whatever they say, right nowadays. um
uh, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And one more thing I'll say that I think would be, he kind of talks about at the end of the episode, is the destigmatizing these medicines.
Mm,
It
yeah.
talks about like microdosing, or taking a little bit of a heavier dose and like going out and having some fun, or microdose during the day, and what that all looks like, what the dosage is. And
Yeah. I
I
mean, what that
microdose
does.
for, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
what that does for your creativity,
Exactly.
anxiety,
Exactly.
compassion.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so there's definitely pieces, and we all grew up in the war on drugs, and
Of course.
Nancy Reagan and the commercials. This is your ban on drugs, and they were definitely effective. And it's so much to this point where when I retired from the military and I went and had lunch with this one guy, he was also a special operator, and he had gone down and done ayahuasca. I didn't
Mm.
even know what ayahuasca was,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like, "Wait a minute, you went to Costa Rica to do drugs?"
Yeah.
And
Right. Yeah.
so yeah, there's definitely a level of destigmatization that needs to happen with these plant medicines. I mean, hell, we take stuff over the counter that's probably more harmful than this
We
stuff.
take basically meth,
Uh,
which
yeah,
is an
yeah.
Adderall. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
one methylated, like, something unit away from actually being methamphetamine. So
Well,
it's like,
yeah. I mean, I certainly don't want to. I don't
yeah.
want to go down and
No,
act
this is
like we're
true.
medical
Yeah,
professionals,
it's
and
true. It's true.
nor do I necessarily want to talk about anybody taking those
Yeah,
medicines.
it's true.
But
True.
uh,
Yeah.
but there are things that may be more harmful over the counter than these medicines, these plant medicines, and the
Yeah.
healing power of these plant medicines are exponentially. Or again, I'm not a medical professional, but I would say the healing power that I have experienced personally, anecdotally,
Mhm.
exponentially higher. So
Oh
I'll
yeah,
leave it
for
at that.
sure.
I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm just gonna drop right now. I'm gonna drop the the podcast link into the little chat here, which we can do.
I think
Uh
that I
yeah.
want to say that chat here is
Oh, I got live chat. It's
only
a live
okay.
chat.
Live, there it
Yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah.
Got it. So okay,
Yeah,
so we've got the
perfect. So I
regular
just
chat and
dropped
the
that
live
in. That's
stream
the
chat.
podcast.
There it is.
It's on YouTube. You can find it on Valor Media. But that's it, John. Like, I mean,
That's
really
it.
listen to the CarBomb, man. He was so clear. It's like he just and you could see the plant, like just how it's really changed him. And I keep saying plant, how this medicine has really changed him. So if you're interested in what that can look like for you, then check out the episode. And thanks for
There
checking
you
out
go.
this live, everybody. And John, it's great to see you. And
You as well,
we'll
brother.
keep on rocking. Be well,
Yeah,
everybody. Thanks for
yeah,
checking
and
this out.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we just released that episode this week. Next week, I think we have our ChatGPT episode.
Oh yeah, that's true.
One of them
How
coming
fun.
out, and then we just interviewed Chris Yaden. Chris Yaden is a big advocate for preventing and reducing child sexual abuse. So if you don't tune in this week to Dan's episode, maybe tune in the next few weeks, or go back and
Hmm.
listen to any of our past episodes. We'd love to have you. Follow us
Yeah,
here on social media, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on all the different channels, and check out Valor Media Network as well on YouTube. So,
yeah.
all
I
right,
just dropped that
thanks.
in.
There it
But that's
is. There
awesome.
it
All
is.
right.
All
Thanks
right,
again,
brother.
everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, John.
Bye bye.
Peace, brother. Peace, everybody. Thank you.
All right.